I close my eyes, I hear you calling to me.
I'm trying not to go there.
I try to block it out, but I'm just falling so deep.
You know, you just keep on
down the rabbit hole where I don't wanna go. When you look into my eyes, tell me what do you see?
You don't understand.
Can you really?
Neighborhood, and your neighborhood, and your neighborhood.
Welcome to the Murder She Shed. My name is Holly, and today we are going to discuss some of the most creepy lost footage ever found. If you love all things true crime, just make sure you smash my subscribe button. We'd love to have you right here in the Murder She Shed. I'm here for you. What else do you got to do? I mean, you're on YouTube. You're obviously bored, so you might as well come visit me, usually twice weekly, right in my Murder She Shed. Let's dig right into this footage, but you can turn back now before it's too late, or you can hang on and go down this rabbit hole with me. I mean, it has a few twists and turns, but we're going to make it out okay, I promise. Before I begin, I'd just like to ask some of my most faithful viewers if they could go subscribe to this young man's channel. He's my son's friend. His name's Nathaniel. He has a channel called Circus Course, which I will leave on the bottom of my comments. I'll leave a link to that channel, so you can go hit subscribe. He's trying to get his channel boosted, and YouTube's a hard place to get recognized. And he makes the most beautiful woodwork. And he just started his channel. He also sells it, and I believe he describes how to build some pieces. I'm not positive because he just started. But if you guys could just go hit the subscribe button so you can boost his channel, he'd appreciate it, and I'd appreciate helping a fellow YouTuber out. So please go do that if you don't mind. In my video description, I will be putting the link to each footage if you would like to watch any of the complete lost media types, because I can't go through it all. Let's begin. Our first footage comes from a YouTube channel that has been since deleted. The uploader and the channel's name was called Mr. Peepers. Sounds creepy, because it is. Mr. Peepers claimed that the segment of his creepy videos were discovered on SD cards, wrapped in plastic, and attached to the roof of a car he found abandoned in the woods. These segments of tapes are of a man who uses a voice changer when he speaks while he stalks a woman. The channel was deleted from YouTube because of violence and committing crimes on camera. We may never know whether it is real or fake, and hopefully I don't get deleted on YouTube for showing pieces of it.
I found this one in the grocery store. She spent a considerable amount of time picking up the finest of items. I admire someone who only wants to pick at a bunch, so I followed her home. It is a miraculous thing to be able to watch the person you love undetected. Somebody once said, you don't always get to choose who you fall in love with, but I do. Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Here, kitty, 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 kitty. I have a treat for you.
I gave away my shifts not to go out. What did he say? Bastard. No, I really do have to. Oh my god! God damn it!
friend.
Ricardo Lopez became obsessed with the Icelandic singer, songwriter, composer, record producer, and actress named Björk. I'm not even going to attempt her last name, since my southern accent will just slaughter it. Björk was Iceland's first celebrity to truly achieve overseas fame. Her style of music is definitely unique. She emerged in the 1980s as the energetic, devilishly angelic voiced lead singer of the rock band The Sugar Cubes. And after the band broke up, Björk became a solo singer. Sometimes Björk's music was so controversial that her videos were banned from MTV. Her music has an artistic flair, and to me, some of the scenes in her video reminds me of Lewis Carroll's Flair in Alice in the Wonderland. When you watch her videos, you feel like you've been smoking some happy grass. I mean, they probably makes more sense if you actually had been smoking some happy grass. Ricardo Lopez was a pest control officer from Florida. Lopez, 18 years old when he began watching a Björk video, became almost instantly infatuated with her, even using her as a muse for his artwork. Lopez began creating a huge library of diaries dedicated to the singer. He also started recording videotape diaries in which he would just chronicle his growing obsession with Björk. There are several hours of footage, and each continues to get darker and darker.
Björk has been an incredible part of my mind since '93, and ended up with an obsession, which I'm not embarrassed to admit now it's an obsession. Look at this beautiful face. This cute, innocent, sweet and shy thing. And I saw her and said, oh, that's her. And I said, wow, man, she's real pretty, Especially when I saw, human behavior, one of the most beautiful parts was she's in the water, with her head upside down. I said, wow, man, she's so beautiful. And strange, too. I've never really seen a girl that looks quite like her, I said, and then I looked at her and said, well, is she Chinese? No, or mixed? Wow, man, she's strange, beautifully strange, exotic, I love her voice. Her voice, oh, man, especially, in human behavior. It's like, wow, man, it was unbelievable. I mean, I close my eyes and I see her perfectly clear. I know her face more than most people do, that's for sure. When I look at her, just, I see a little girl type of thing, sweet, innocent, that's what I want. That's what I want her to be,
The breaking point for Lopez arrived when it was announced that Björk was dating musician and actor Goldie. Their relationship had started to gain traction in the press, and this provided the spark to ignite Lopez's short fuse. As the stalker is a racist, and Goldie actually happened to be a black man, it infuriated him. And on his videos, he makes all kinds of racist rants, which I am not going to show on here. The stalker soon decided that nobody could date the star, chillingly announcing, I'm just going to have to kill her. I'm going to send a package. I'm going to be sending her to hell.
I guess coming back to the beginning, she affected me, like I put down in the definition in the thing. And coming back, the world goes back upon itself. I'm going to affect her. Like my first mission was to affect her with joy. Now things have changed drastically. I will begin my hunt. And I know like I'm going to go, I'm going to start stalking you.
Hampered by geography, he was in America while Björk was in London. Lopez devised a way to navigate his murderous plot. He decided to send Björk a letter. His original plan was to mail her a letter filled with HIV-contaminated syringes, in what must go down as one of the most disgustingly deranged plots ever conceived. When this became unfeasible, he settled on the equally upsetting filled with sulfuric acid. Lopez built the inside a hollowed-out book, which, when opened by the recipient, would spray the acid right into her face and kill her. On September the 12th, he packaged up this device and sent the letter onto Björk's London address. After sending the deadly package, he set his video diary to record and began to make his last wishes. Lopez proceeded to paint his face and head red and green, inscribed racial slurs on his walls and what was possibly another attempt at showing his hatred of Goldie, and played Bjork's I Remember You in the background. It's just a creepy last tape. And then he loaded what we don't like to talk about on YouTube ever, and he stated, "This is for you," and he took his own life, convinced that he would meet his idol in heaven. When the downstairs neighbors of Lopez began to see blood dripping from the ceiling and into their apartment, they called the police. Imagine. The cops arrived to find Lopez's decomposing body surrounded by a heap of those videotapes. One still in the camera was titled The Last Day and was therefore watched first. Luckily, this allowed police to work with Scotland Yard to prevent Bjork from opening the deadly package that had been sent to her.
That will be it. That will be it. The end.
Beanbag Adventures laboratory discovery first caught the eye in February 2022 when he posted a video of himself entering a creepy lab and discovering a pool of tiny bodies. Beanbag Adventures is a Chinese video creator who visits abandoned buildings in rural China in order to give his viewers, well, some eerie contents to view. In this particular video, he is inspecting a ruined medical facility. The sweet smell of death is in the air, and it only gets more unbearable as he nears a certain area. As he continues to walk through the building, he finds children's clothing and creepy masks. The whole building just has a eerie feel. It just seems like there was something evil that happened in this place. Beanbag Adventures wanders down into the basement. It's always the basement, isn't it? When he comes across a concrete pool that is filled with either greasy water or formaldehyde solution. In it, he films the remains of what is thought to be dozens of children. The first video he showed, he describes the bodies as being movie props. He was thinking that they were dolls at that time.
来吧，兄弟们想看的地下实验室，心理承受能力强的患有，随着镜头来。接下来大家所看到的一切物品。
And because it's so graphic, I have to blur it out because YouTube doesn't like it. But like I said, I left a link in the comments for the full video without blurring. But it is graphic, and I do warn you that it's upsetting. 10 months later, Beanbag Adventure returns to the facility for another 2 tours. Many of the bodies have since crumbled down to their skeletons. This makes him realize that perhaps they are real bodies of babies. I mean, baby dolls do not have skeletons in them, so that was kind of convincing to me when you see ribs sticking out of the stomach that these could be real. I mean, there's your sign. The entire channel was removed with people thinking that it was the Chinese government that had forced him to remove his channel. When his channel was finally back, 3 videos of the facility were missing. Many people have theorized that this facility was used for organ donations. The organ trade in China is quite the rabbit hole. China certainly has shorter waiting times for organ donations than in comparable countries. In 2015, there were 700,000 children housed in China's state orphanages, many of whom have been left in baby hatches by parents who were too poor to care for them or who did not want disabled children. Some people cling to a serial killer theory because even adult skeletons are seen during the video. I'm not with them on this.
Did he say a serial killer?
I've just never seen serial killer kill a bunch of babies, but, you know, I mean, I guess weirder things have happened. I myself was wondering if this could be some kind of experimental facility like a body farm or just where they took bodies like in World War II when Hitler had all these scientists do weird experiments, kind of like something like that. That makes me think of what it could be. So we may never know the true story behind this video, but it is definitely one spooky place. This case came to light last January after a video began to circulate on China's version of TikTok. It showed a dazed, middle-aged woman who had been chained by her neck inside a shed, apparently by her husband. Yeah. This one is the only video that is not actually lost footage, but since the story behind it is so interesting, I decided that it needed to be added. This video posted in the middle of winter on January 26, 2022 by a man who was shocked to find a woman locked and chained by her neck in a rubbish-filled building in a village in China, despite the fact that the temperature was approaching 0 degrees Celsius. The woman was only wearing a thin sweater. The conditions in the hut were just disgusting and littered with garbage. The man filming the video seems to offer the woman a coat. After this man put this on the Chinese TikTok, it just went viral. It just blew up. So therefore the government had to address this. And they released its first statement on January 30th, claiming the woman, who was called, I'm not going to pronounce the long name, but her real name was Yang. The long name was not really her real name. It was her nickname, so I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. It was given to her by her captor. I'm not going to say husband because, yeah, he just was her captor. The government also claimed Yang had been adopted by her husband's father while she was begging on the street. The government also claimed that Yang's marriage to her husband was legal and that she had been chained up just because she suffered from a mental illness and might attack people. Since when that gives you a right to chain people up, I don't know. The statement caused an outrage across China because most people believe she was a victim of human. A year later, the true story would come out, and she indeed was a victim of human. A man called Dong Jian had bought the woman for 5,000 yuan, and they had kept her chained up in a room without sunlight, electricity, and running water since 2017. 5,000 yuan, I'm probably saying it wrong, is around $700 US. Yang, who has schizophrenia, has been sold twice before ending up with Dong. She had 8 children during her time with Dong from 1999 to 2020. All of Yang's teeth have fallen out due to her unkempt conditions. Yang often was hungry because she wasn't given enough to eat. She was basically starved. Since rescued, Yang is being treated by a doctor. Her eldest son says that his mother, who once could not identify him at times, can now recognize him and calls him by his name. Yang's husband was jailed for 9 years for torture, abuse, and keeping her captive. 5 others who had abducted and sold her received terms ranging from 8 to 13 years. Public anger remains high in China over widespread trafficking of women and girls, mostly for marriage to men who can't find willing partners. I'd be so embarrassed if I had to buy a woman because no one would have me. I mean, have some morals. On March 18th, 1998, imagine sitting down on your couch watching Wheel of Fortune while you ate your TV dinner that your grandma had heated up for you on your TV table. As you and Grandma sit eating watching the Vows turn, it seemed to be a perfectly innocent evening. But you would soon learn on the evening news 2 nights later that one of the contestants you had watched with your grandma was actually a wanted child. Now look what Grandma made you watch. Grandma? Shame on you, Grandma. Because Matthew FENWICK decided he needed to go on as a contestant, he would soon be arrested for being a pedophile. He was too stupid to know that I'm a wanted man. I shouldn't go on Wheel of Fortune and say where I live and my name. Just pure stupidity, really.
It's nice to have you all here, and good to have our 3 players as well, starting right here with our friend, well, we're not friends yet, but I'm sure by the end of the show we will be. Matt FENWICK from Kansas City, Missouri.
Yes.
What do you do back there, Matt?
I am working on a doctorate in piano back at University of Missouri at Kansas City.
Ah, you know, one of our players won a piano on yesterday's show.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, yes, I do. Do we have any pianos available tonight? Well, you probably have a piano.
No, I don't, actually. I have to use the churches.
Oh, really? Okay, well, then perhaps you can have one then. Studies going well, I take it?
Studies going very well. I'm just about to finish up this semester. And
what are your musical ambitions then?
I would like to be able to compose and teach.
Okay, well, I hope that all goes well for you. It's nice to have you on our show. Good luck to you, Matt. We took the scenic route, but we got there. $1,750. Matt, you did very well. $4,400. Good luck to you. Thank you very much for being here.
FENWICK had been accused of molesting 2 girls ages 8 and 10, and a warrant had been issued for his arrest in November 1997. However, authorities had not been able to locate him until one of the 2 girls he was accused of molesting saw him on the Wheel of Fortune. I guess she was watching TV with Grandma too and was like, Oh my gosh, can you imagine how terrifying that would be for that little girl to see the guy that had done those things to her right on Wheel of Fortune, talking to Pat Sajak, the show you watched every night? That's just awful. The girl's mother then contacted authorities, and Fenwick was arrested a few days later at his house in Kansas City because he said where he lived on the show. Just a genius right there. Fenwick was charged with 2 felony counts of aggravated indecent liberties with a child, involving girls aged 8 to 10, and he was jailed for 6 years before leaving jail on conditional release in 2004. But as a reminder that he is a creep, we have this recently found footage. Jimmy'll Fix It was a long-running BBC television series hosted by Jimmy Savile. I'm sure y'all heard of him. Children from the public will write in to host requesting that he fix something for them or make some wish come true.
Where is linseed? Come here, linseed.
Linseed oil, what a good idea.
Come here. Turn around, look at the ladies and gentlemen. Now, you see this young lady, sir? She wishes that she could help you with one of your paintings.
Good idea.
Do you think I may leave her in your charge?
Safely leave her in my capable hands here.
Right.
I'll just roll my sleeves up in case I get some
back in a
scums on.
minute. Back in a minute. Off you go.
Well, Lynn, what would you like to paint?
The children who wrote in would be invited onto the show, and during the episode, Jimmy would fix it or make the child's dream come true. But often their dreams would turn into nightmares because Jimmy was a disturbing and disgusting man.
One woman who says she was by SAVILE during a recording of Top of the Pops has told Sky News BBC staff knew what was going on. She spoke to our media correspondent Katie Stallard.
A fella could get used to all this. I think I'm really could get used to it. So, ladies and gentlemen, all we can say is...
When you first watch it, it just seems like a bit of fun with Jimmy Savile. Until you know what was happening to the woman on his right.
You see here, I'm trying to push his hand and he won't move.
In her first broadcast interview, Sylvia Edwards told Sky News Jimmy Savile murdered her on camera in the Top of the Pops studio.
And I just felt his hand go underneath, and that's what I said, I jumped up. But I went to go back down again because I couldn't go anywhere. And all of a sudden his hand was still there. So I was trying to push it away, but he wouldn't go. I mean, I just screeched. But I started feeling embarrassed because where can you go? I had all these people in front of me and I couldn't get down these step things. So I had to just stay there. But I was just trying to push it. And I was just getting really flustered.
Sylvia was 18 at the time. She says she told a man with a headset what had happened, but he said, that's just Jimmy Savile.
I just found this man that was something, I don't know what he was doing next to a camera. And he just said to me, I said, you know, he's really filthy, he's putting his hand up my skirt and there. And he said, oh no, don't be so stupid. He said, that's just Jimmy Savile. Come on, get out of the way, go away.
A director for the show had caught Jimmy once essaying a 16-year-old girl guest. Yet despite revealing what he had witnessed to BBC officials, nothing was done to prevent further misconduct.
What does she do with the cable, boys?
It's got to go down there, has it? Oh, I've got to decide.
I can't walk about with it like that because it looks like I've had the operation. Just there, down there.
One creepy footage from Jimmy'll Fix It is a young girl who was set up to appear with another predator that was on the show, Keith Harding, for a Christmas episode. During the episode, Keith fixed a music box belonging to a 13-year-old girl. I believe this episode is still one of the lost episodes. Jimmy didn't care what sex or what age you were, everyone would be considered free play, even the dead.
What do you do in the caravan?
Anybody I can lay my hands on. I'm feared in every girls' school in this country.
He was friend to a mortician at the Broadmoor mortuary that gave him free reign to the building. I mean, he had keys. He even had his own room. He had keys to all the wards. It was a psychiatric hospital, and I guess down below was a mortuary. So he could go to any place he wanted in the whole building. Not only did he essay the patients that were at the facility, but he also visited the mortuary on lots of occasions and Yeah, he did that too, with the dead. He would confess to a nurse that he enjoyed interfering with the bodies, including posing the bodies of men and women and photographing them, dead ones. He also claimed he committed essays on these corpses. As a result of the numerous allegations made against Jimmy, his programs, including Jimmy'll Fix It, will never air on British television again, although clips of the show can still be found on YouTube.
Hey, this interview is being tape recorded. I'm Detective Constable from the Surrey Police. What's your full name?
James Wilson Savile.
You said earlier it was okay to call you Jimmy.
That's my name, yes.
So, just before I make you aware of what's been alleged, I'll just read out the caution. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely upon in court, and anything you do say may be given in evidence.
I'll say everything. I've had so much of this in 50 years, you know, it's always either someone looking for a few quid or a story for the paper.
What we'll do, Jimmy, I'm not being rude stopping you there. I will give you a chance to say, but it's just important that I get this introduction bit done.
You didn't interrupt me.
Did you specifically go to Duncroft knowing it was an all-girls place to receive gratification?
That is a complete flight of fantasy.
She said that when you visited Duncroft, she showed you across to a place called Norman Lodge.
No, I can't remember that.
Did you ask her to give you what she calls a...
Out of the question.
So did you ask for a massage from the girls when you visited Duncroft?
Not at all. Never.
Did you ask them to comb your hair at all?
No.
Why would these girls say this about you?
We always get something like this coming around at Christmas because we all want a few quid at Christmas, right? Normally you can just brush them away like midges. They will try blackmail. If you don't send us money, I will say that you've done this and you've done that. So that's why I have, up in Leeds, a collection of senior police persons. I give them all my weirdo letters and they take them back to the station.
You talk about that, though, as if there's reasons for you going downstairs. Do you have a conscience about that? Is there stuff you've done that you think will deny you access to the big man?
No. I never brought any harm to anybody. I've never bad-mouthed anybody. It sounds a bit yucky, but it's my nature, it's my lifestyle, and I never thought there was a profit in being bad.
Lastly, did you know the Night Stalker serial killer made an appearance on nothing else but the Maury Povich show? I know you know Maury Povich. I mean, he's the man that got on TV and said, "You are not the father." It's the way it went on Maury, but once he even hosted the serial killer. Well, actually, interviewed the serial killer. The episode Richard Ramirez was on is a still partially lost, piece of media, but a few minutes actually has been found.
The notorious Night Stalker killing spree in which Richard Ramirez brutally murdered 13 people in their beds in Southern California. Ginny Peterson was nearly one of them. Somehow, she survived. You're in your bedroom, all of a sudden there's a guy, and it's the Night Stalker.
At that time, we were unaware that there was someone out there on a killing spree. No
You and your husband?
My husband and myself. There had been no formal notification that someone was out there killing at random.
And what did he do to you?
He entered the bedroom. We argued briefly. He leaned over and shot me through the face. When I fell back onto the bed, my husband sat up. He then shot my husband in the side of the head. We both fell back on the bed, and we had a bit of a conversation between each other. We thought perhaps it was someone playing a sick joke. We couldn't believe the magnitude of what was happening to us. Then we became aware that he was standing there laughing. Later on in testimony, he would tell people from his jail cell that he liked to watch people wiggle like little worms before they expired after he'd shot them. I was very fortunate in that my husband found the strength and the courage to jump up and chase him out of the house. Meanwhile, still dodging 2 additional bullets.
Even though he had been shot in the head, you were shot in the face.
Yes.
You pass out?
No, neither one of us at any time lost consciousness.
Later on, you helped, I assume, in the arrest of Richard Ramirez.
He was not arrested for 3 more weeks. He was still on the loose. We did go to a lineup several days after his capture, which was on September 1st. And then we were part of the process of
No
the court
problem
proceedings.
IDing him, huh?
For myself, no, there was none whatsoever. I will never, ever forget that face.
I talked to Richard Ramirez a few months ago, believe it or not, about another show. And it was an exclusive interview we did in August from Death Row in California. And everyone should see what this guy is like and how he treats humanity and the human condition.
I think most humans have in them the capacity to commit murder. It is not because...
No, we don't, Richard.
They choose not to, not because they are morally superior, as they so commonly claim, but because they are imprisoned in a web of responsibilities, commitments, beliefs, and sentiments.
Richard.
And that would render murder an absurd gamble or ridiculous self-destruction.
What do you think of somebody like that? He's the Richard Ramirez who you testified against?
I feel nothing but scorn, disgust, and pity for him.
I don't know
believe
if I would even feel pity for him.
I do. For someone to be that sick, to be that evil. He was right in that we all have choices. He chose his path. He chose the death penalty every time he killed someone.
Hope you come back and visit us at the Murder She Said anytime you want. We'll be here for you. We don't have a life, Simon, do we? We really don't have a life. We just four-wheeler all day and talk to a camera at you guys. I'm so sorry there's going to be a piece during this video where you're going to hear Spanish music in the background. The brickers that are bricking my house are listening to it. I'm suddenly getting the desire for Mexican food. I want a big fajita, some good queso. What is that, Max? What is that, Max? That's a scary thing. That wig is the one I use in one of my episodes that I actually was going to use again on some more crazy episodes. And Max is terrified of that wig. He thinks it's some sort of creature that's going to get him. He hates it. Go figure. It is kind of ugly though. I mean, that's the purpose of it, I suppose. Why do you gotta use a saw to lay brick? Well, I guess some have to be cut in half, I suppose. My brother's a bricklayer, but I don't know nothing about laying brick. It does look kind of monstrous, actually. Wow, isn't that lovely? I couldn't find a cheaper wig. I actually got this at Dollar General. Can you tell? Wait, where's this supposed to go? Oh, I think I get it sideways. Somebody said they didn't recognize me in this ugly wig. I can't imagine why. Oh my God, I'm crazy sometimes. Maybe that's why y'all like me. I'm just freaking crazy. I can't completely quit Dr. Pepper, although I'm on a diet. I'm trying to. I gotta lose about 10-15 pounds, y'all. It's not doing it drinking sweetness like this, is it? Convinced that he would be meeting his idol in heaven. I'm having my doubts whether he went to heaven at all. So there's that. Have some morals. Right, Simon? Have some morals. He also claimed he committed essays on these corpses. I didn't want to go there, but I had to because that happened. We do things together all day. We do things together all day, don't we, Bubba? Peekaboo!
I close my